Hi, Gigi.
Hi, Gary.
Oh boy, here we are again. This is the final chapter. This is our conclusion chapter, and we want to go over some things that we forgot. Right? Now, the first thing in this conclusion was the cows that you had in France. You said they all had names. They had no ear tattoos.
No, the cows in Normandy didn't have tattoos. I don't know when it started, probably in the 50s. But
this is a list of the names.
In order to know the cows, my parents give them names. And the names were Bergère, La Fleur, et La Jolie. That's the first three. The other three were Joli Cœur, Fleurette, and Blanchette. And we also had a horse named Fauvette.
What do those names mean? Bergère, isn't that the guy who takes care of the sheep?
Yeah, that's it. But
shepherd, right?
Like a shepherd, yeah.
And what's the other one?
La Fleur.
Oh, just a flower.
Yeah. La Jolie, that's easy to remember.
Just a cutie or something?
Yeah. Joli Cœur, Fleurette, et Blanchette.
Now, this is, you told me this is admissible in a court of law. You couldn't remember these, but you found them on the divorce settlement. They said, well, one cow for you, one cow for me.
Right.
And the judge?
The judge decided to share the 6 cows into 3 for my mother and 3 for my father. And in order to see who they were, they had names, and that's why the names was on a piece of paper for the divorce settlement.
And if someone would run over a cow, let's say with his car or something too, they'd say, well, you ran over
Fleurette or
something, and it was admissible, it was illegal.
Right, and they recognize the cow by the spots on their pelage, on their back, or the furs.
They had personalities though too.
Right, and also their face.
And you mentioned that one of the things as a child being raised, you didn't have a telephone until when?
My mother had her telephone finally in Paris in the late 1950s.
1959, 1960. There was a waiting list?
My mother waited 8 years to get a phone number, and so finally they got one, and we didn't know how to work that telephone. It was so weird to have a phone, but it was very useful.
Now, we were walking around bunker areas there, and where the cannons were. The German engineers built those, but the French, with their cob horses and their percherons and their heavy-duty workhorses, they had to bring to the beaches the iron railroad pieces from their factories and foundries, right?
Right, and also the cement.
Cement and all that, and the rebar iron.
I suppose the cement was already mixed, I don't know. Sand and the
so the French
water
couldn't build the bunkers and the obstacles
No,
for the sea.
it was forbidden. The French had to bring the material, but not build, because the German didn't trust the French. He would have done a sloppy job, of course.
Really?
Because of the resistance.
All right, you said also, and I remember as the time when we were married, you used to have nightmares. For something like 62 years, you dreamt of Nazis running around with bayonets and stuff?
Yeah, for years and years, maybe once in a while, I would dream about Germans running after me with a knife or a bayonet. And that would scare me to death.
Yeah, you'd wake up screaming in the middle of the night.
But finally it went away when we came back to Paris in 2005.
Yeah, it lasted that long. Well, this is one of the tragedies of war. You can imagine the soldiers, too. Some of them had nightmares that lasted forever. You mentioned something about fireplace bricks, going to bed with hot bricks.
My mother and father, and even my uncle and aunt, later on when we would go on vacation, they would put a brick in a tower, in a chimney to warm it up, and then when it was warm, wrap it up in a towel and put this in our bed, because of course in Normandy they didn't have a central air condition or
electric bed warm things.
Or electric bed warm. I think they had that in America. I don't know about France.
So you went to bed with a brick?
So we went to bed with a brick, and we would warm it up, and my sister would have it in her side, and then I would have me on my side, because we sleep head.
Well, there were 5 in one bed, your sister?
Yeah.
You bet was saying?
Yeah, when we went to my father's aunt,
after you were devastated and everything.
After the war, after we were
bombed out.
Yeah, we
5 in one
we
bed.
were 5 children in a huge bed, old bed.
Now, one of the things that the Nazis spread was one of these things we call urban legends, that look out for the Americans if they come, they're going to have black soldiers, and they're cannibals still or something?
Yeah, when I was in during the war, of course, and
you hid me.
We were. Somebody spread the word that the American black people would eat up women only, not men. Now,
what about
women
little
only,
kids?
And little kids too, girls.
Girls only.
And of course, when I would see them on the highway in a army trucks, I would see some, showing their face, and I was scared to death. And sometimes they would stop to give us candies, and I would disappear very fast behind the bushes, because I didn't trust none of those black soldiers. I thought they would eat me up, and also my mother. And I would tell my mother, if we would be on the highway with a cow, I said, "Mother, mother, hide, they are going to get after you and after me. Hide, please," because I was so scared. But that was a legend, because it wasn't the truth.
And you did.
But one day, a truck passed by, and 2 or 3 soldiers came down in the truck, and one of them was black. And he offered me candies, and I said, "Oh, it's not too bad." Then if they give me candies, that they cannot eat me up neither. So after that, I was more relaxed regarding the black soldiers, American soldiers.
But you remembered also that one of your brothers was adventurous, or always getting you to go places. He was taking the boots off of dead soldiers.
Yeah, well, after in 1944, the 6th June 1944, we were walking on a road where was going to the city, and the main road, and on the side of the road was a dead German soldier. My brother told me he was a German soldier. I don't know who he was, and he said, "Oh, let's get the boot, and he approached the corpse and took off the boots in front of me, and I said, "What does he need boots for? It's probably not even his size." But
that's what you do in war, you take boots.
But anyway, he took the boots, and we went back home with it. My mother and father didn't ask anything. I don't remember having them asking him where he got the boots.
Now, your father, Maurice Launay, he actually did serve 3 months of active duty in the Paris
my father, I think it was in 1939, he was supposed to go to active duties, and he stayed only 3 months, and he was sent to Paris area at Vincennes.
Yeah, there's a military.
And there he stayed only 3 months, and one day I think the colonel called him, and he says, "Monsieur Maurice Launay, you cannot stay. You cannot stay any longer, because you have now 5 children. The last one was born in February 1939, and so after that he left, and he went back home." My mother was surprised, of course, and
he never ever came back to the Paris area. He was in that Bois de Vincennes,
he didn't have a
Vincennes
good
area.
relationship with Paris, so
City of perdition.
he swore that he would never go back to Paris because he said it's a city of perdition.
Sinful people. Now, but that's interesting. Your father served only 3 months active duty, but your mother, she got a medal. Not for saving you kids and getting you out of the house and putting you in the ditch and so on, surviving the war and getting you out of the war zone. She didn't get a medal for that, but she got a medal for having had more than 5 kids.
Yes, and
she should get a Medal of Honor.
My mother, really, she saved our lives. Let's face it.
But she got a medal.
But she got a medal because her 7 children were all still alive and healthy and got good jobs. So that's why she got a medal. She did a very good...
Oh, now there's one more interesting curiosity. While, this is a coincidence too, while your house was being bombed on D-Day, a Nadolski soldier was losing his life on D-Day also. In the same morning, probably. Little known fact was, okay, my father and my uncle, and you ended up marrying a Nadolski, so you're connected by marriage to soldiers going through Normandy, the Battle of Normandy and northern France. But you had, by marriage, relatives dying in German uniforms on the field of battle too.
Yeah, that's very unusual to find this out.
Poland was partitioned. They were drafted because ever since the days of the Kaiser, they were subjects, they were citizens, and they had to serve. But the Germans would put them in the front line to absorb bullets and be cannon fodder, and they had a bayonet by their back so they couldn't really escape or go AWOL or desert. And then after, well, 4 Nadolski cousins, second and third cousins now at this level, they bear the names of your own grandchildren, and they're buried in German cemeteries in Normandy, in the military cemeteries.
Right.
With German military respect.
Exactly.
But my uncle and my father survived, though, and didn't get killed, thank goodness. It's a kind of a curiosity about that the Germans, you're connected to the Germans and the Americans by marriage. It's sort of an interesting fact. Now,
let's drink to that.
I'll drink your survival and our survival to the curiosity of war, and we're celebrating
to your ancestor, Gary, the Nadolskis.
Wait a minute, we're celebrating an important time period here. 45 years of, what do they call it, of being in a relationship, a significant relationship, what do they call it? Being in a relationship with somebody?
Maybe.
Because a lot of people don't get married now. So we're still in a relationship.
We're still in a relationship.
I'll drink to that here. So that's our conclusion chapter. We hope nobody fell asleep during the filming. And we'll meet again, I guess, someday, as the song goes. Thanks for surviving, Gigi. It's been a slice, as they say. And it's been a good relationship. 45 years. Oh, wait a minute. The conclusion has to include one final anecdote.
Yes.
After all the occupation, British, Canadians, Americans, NATO and everything, and the war, German occupation, finally de Gaulle decided France should have its own army protecting them. Made us leave. I was the last American soldier. A lot of people don't know this. I was the last American soldier to have his active duty, do his military service in French soil.
Right.
Doesn't that make you... I'll drink on that. The last GI in France. Okay. Oh, thank goodness this is over.